welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today attended the first in-person summit of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization in 2 years in Uzbekistan to deliberate on major regional security challenges and issues like trade, investment and energy supplies. All eyes were on this summit as it is coming amid global turbulence in the wake of Russia's invasion of Ukraine and China's saber-rattling with India and then with Taiwan. But from India's point of view, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also came face-to-face with Xi Jinping, the Chinese president, for the first time since the start of the military standoff in Ladakh in 2020. PM Modi also met Russian President Vladimir Putin for the first time since the Ukraine invasion, and at a time when India has been pressed hard by the West for not shunning the long-time ally because of that war. We'll get you more of just who all the Indian Prime Minister has met and what the conclusion of those meetings or the messaging of those meetings has been. But let me first also take you through the Prime Minister's larger message at the SCO summit on its role and its importance. Now, he talked about how the focus should be on bringing diversified and resilient supply chains. And that's really the biggest global crisis right now. How better connectivity and access to transit is required. He said that India supports mutual trust, cooperation among the SCO countries. And you know, any grouping that India is part of, India is looked at to play that role, especially in a grouping like this, which some worry could become anti-West, but for the presence of India. He also said the SCO can play a constructive role in the post-COVID era and that SCO can further economic recovery and strengthen supply chains. The Prime Minister also used this opportunity to sell brand India to our partners and our neighbours. I want to highlight some of his statements here. He always uses these summits as an opportunity to do so, but he began by saying that he wants to transform India into a manufacturing hub, big statement of intent. He said India's economy is expected to grow at 7.5% this year, that India is the fastest growing economies in the world. He also said we are focusing on a people-centric development model, and that more than 70,000 startups and over 100 unicorns exist in India today. And these are the bilaterals that India has held on the sidelines of the SCO. The Prime Minister met Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, the Russian President Vladimir Putin, and we'll get you more of the messaging from that big bilateral as well, the Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi, and of course, as host of this year's summit, Uzbekistan President Shavkat Mirziyoyev. The big debate that's coming up today, with Prime Minister sending out the message that he has the SCO summit coming at a time that it is, both with respect to Russia and China and the global scenario, can India achieve its goal in the region via this SCO?
भारत को एक मैन्युफैक्चरिंग हब बनाने पर प्रगति कर रहे हैं। इस वर्ष भारत की अर्थव्यवस्था में 7.5% वृद्धि की आशा है, जो विश्व की बड़ी इकोनॉमीज में सबसे अधिक होगी।
Let me open this up to our guest joining us. Ambassador Suresh Goyal is with us, former diplomat, former DG of ICCR. Andrew K.P. Leung is international and independent China strategist, joining us from Hong Kong. Ingrid Kim is a Russian journalist who will be with us in just a bit. And Purnima Anand is President, BRICS International Forum and International Federation of Indo-Russian Youth Clubs, who's on the show with us. Purnima ji, let me start with you. I'm reading what the news agency PTI has flashed as far as the Indian Prime Minister and the Russian President's bilateral is concerned. And the message that India has given is that this is not an era of war. How significant do you think that statement is, even though India has been criticized for not criticizing Russia over the invasion of Ukraine? Purnima ji, can you hear me? That question was for you.
Okay, this is good evening.
Yes.
It is really important that Shanghai Cooperation Organizations are together at Uzbekistan, and this is very important that in current realities, Russia, India and China is meeting, because it is an important alliance of BRICS also, and recently in June we completed 14th summit of BRICS, and this Shanghai Cooperation Organization meeting is very important because it will open the new channels for neighboring countries to do the good alliances. Today energy and food security is important challenge for neighboring countries like Sri Lanka. We know that Sri Lanka is facing very serious problem, and this problem is upcoming in neighboring countries, and Shanghai Cooperation Organization can open the ground to discuss the resolution of this problems. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has highlighted that they are developing manufacturing hub in India, and it is a people-centric development plans, and unicorn companies are giving importance because it is a digital civilization and we need to connect digitally with the world. So this is very important that we will get opportunity to resolve our disputes at borders with Pakistan and China, and now we can open new gateway for the cooperation in economic and human cooperation.
But ma'am, do you believe that via the SCO summit, can we resolve those issues with China and Pakistan, or those are more bilateral issues which frankly wouldn't dominate the focus at the SCO? Because, you know, we've not really done a pull aside with Pakistan or China, as we know till now.
See, Ukraine crisis is a very important challenge, and we can understand we need to resolve our border problems very soon. Otherwise, if we are bleeding at borders, then third countries' participation and interventions can develop more difficulties. So we need to resolve our problems, our border issues, as well as our socio-economic development issues. So Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit is very important, and it opens the platform for all heads of countries to dialogue and to resolve the problems. And especially yuan, ruble, currency exchange and trade opportunities, and rupee ruble trade opportunities are the a new example that we can open new gateways in trade and aviation and securities.
Purnima ji, before I move on to some of our other guests, I also wanted to ask you what I began by asking you. India has told Russia in that meeting between Prime Minister Modi and President Putin that this is not an era of war. Now, India has, of course, been criticized for not criticizing Russia in the past at the global forums, but India has always maintained that they are for quick resolution of this conflict. How important do you see today's message from India to Russia?
This is question with me.
Yes, Purnima ji, that's for you.
India-Russia cooperation is always important, and we know from last 75 years, Russia is always standing with India in all circumstances. Always Russia did veto power use for the favor of India. Now during Ukraine crisis, we saw that Russia is upcoming with new model. They are looking towards East, and Eastern cooperation is more important because in Western countries there is a saturation and there is a limitation because they are also passing through inflammation, and after pandemic all countries are facing problems. So this is new opportunities with the cooperation of Eastern world, Eastern countries, BRICS countries and SCO countries.
Okay.
So India-Russia is having new ground to collaborate.
Yes,
after
and
70
there couldn't be a more